Hey everyone, welcome back to One Piece today. In the previous chapter 1170, we saw a fierce clash between Loki and Ragnar. That hammer proved exactly why LBF's legendary devil fruit has remained unclaimed for centuries. It seems even King Haro tried to challenge Ragnar in his youth but failed. Haro said Ragnar guards the national treasure, rejecting everyone. However, Haro is now confident he can take the devil fruit by force. The castle guards were helpless against the monster Haro has become, falling instantly as he marched toward the treasure vault. Luckily, Shanks and Gaban were there, using his experience fighting the Holy Knights. Gaban guided Shanks on how to stop the king. They blasted him with Conqueror's Haki, annoying Haro enough to force him to use his own defensive Haki. Gaban had never seen this before. They are Garpa, so taking down someone on Zebek's level is nearly impossible. All hope now rests on Loki, who is delivering the decisive blow against Ragnar. Finally, the hammer accepted him, transforming into a cute squirrel and opened the chest, offering Loki the legendary fruit. Loki turned into a four-legged creature with claws and thick fur or maybe spines. It's definitely a mythical Zoan. Just as despair set in, Loki descended like a god, overwhelming King Haro and beating him back to his senses. Haro regretted his actions, but he trusted his son to lead Elbaf down the right path. King Haro lowered his Haki defense, allowing Loki to land the finishing blow, ending a glorious yet tragic life. But for Loki, this is just the start. Today, One Piece Today analyzes the latest chapter 1171 Iron Thunder Ragnar. If Haro left the castle like that, he would have brought ruin to the world. That was Copper Gaban's reaction after watching the fight. Looking at the corpses and destroyed architecture in Ares Castle, you immediately understand what Gaban meant. The immortal monster that Gaban couldn't stop was taken down by Loki. Imagine if Haro had actually eaten that legendary fruit. The world might truly have ended. Gaban can barely believe he's alive and that Haro is dead. He had already pictured the worst-case scenario. I glimpsed a future of utter despair during that battle. No matter how hard we hit him, his body just regenerated. It was unbelievable. I never expected that thing could actually stop him. Gaban's vision wasn't just observation Haki. It was pure reality. A deep fear and helplessness he'd never felt before. No one thought Haro could lose, which proves just how terrifying Elbaf's legendary devil fruit really is. Its quality likely surpasses every mythical Zoan we've seen except for Nika. Of course, Kaido fans might not like hearing this, but the truth is Loki's devil fruit is simply stronger. Here's the proof. Before eating it, Loki was easily suppressed by a holding back Haro who still had his sanity. But after gaining the power, Loki dominated and heavily damaged his father, something Shanks and Gaban's Haki couldn't do. Pure power breaking through Haro's Haki defense is insane. Could Wano's Kaido defeat Haro? No one dares say yes, because Haro was in a state similar to Rock's D. Zebek, who required Garp and Roger teaming up to defeat. Meanwhile, Loki fought alone. Haro helped with the final blow, but Loki's earlier attacks were what brought his consciousness back. The second proof is that Rock's D. Zebek himself coveted Loki's devil fruit. He fled God Valley after facing a Mesame, believing that with the specific devil fruits, he could overthrow the government. One of those fruits was an Elbaf Loki's fruit. Zebek never even cared about Kaido's fruit. A prize for a celestial dragon contest can't compare to LBF's national treasure. Its power is proven. It possesses immense quality, enough to shift the tide of battle, not just boost strength. That is incredibly rare. That's why Gaban asked, Jaro, did you know the national treasure was this powerful? No, I had no idea. I get goosebumps just imagining what would have happened if Loki wasn't here. The situation seems resolved. Elders are all stood up. And miraculously, there are surviving soldiers. All thanks to Loki. But a devil fruit needs the right user. This treasure was essentially custom-made for the giants of Elbaf. No wonder Zebek didn't take it himself. He admitted Haro was the best fit to unleash its full potential. So, even if Shanks or Gaban ate it, they wouldn't be as strong as Loki. Ragnar only accepts giants, since no one was accepted for centuries. Jarl only knew legends, not the true power. Jarl is 408 years old, so the fruit is likely gone unidden for at least 500 years. Or perhaps it lay dormant since the Void Century. waiting for the right person just like the Haki no Mi, Mononika. And it waited for Loki. He was the right one. Shiba wanted Haro to eat it, but fate had other plans. The boys Eva rejected became the chosen one. Loki saved Elbaf and the world. Meanwhile, Shanks is deep in thought, remembering Haro's excitement about becoming a holy knight. Haro thought he was leading Elbaf into the world government for a brighter future, but it was all a lie. Shanks saw their true colors during his first talk with Garland. Speak your desires. Oh, my poor child. You've suffered so much in that miserable life down below. Forget your old life. Those commoners down there aren't even human. They view themselves as gods. Everyone on the surface is just an insect to be crushed. Realizing this, Shanks desperately wanted to save Haro, but he arrived one step too late. What haunts Shanks most is that he carries celestial dragon blood, a stain he can never wash away. This is likely why he cried with Roger when he learned the truth about his origins. He gripped his left arm, bearing him Sam's mark, looking like he wanted to crush it. Gaban understood completely. Shanks, stop it. That's a bad habit. Never blame yourself for your birth. Why did Haro have to die? He had such a pure soul. It's not your fault. Listen, every life has meaning. Calm down and wait for yours. I think this is when Shanks realized he couldn't just live a carefree pirate life. Great power brings great responsibility. To minimize his regrets, he stepped up to maintain the world's balance and grow stronger. He also silently paved the way for the new Joy Boy. That's why he stole the Nika fruit from the government. Losing his arm to save Luffy was his way of cutting ties with IMSMA and betting on the future. He can't face IMSMA directly while bearing that mark, as it allows him to control him via the contract. Back to Loki. Everyone respectfully gave him space to be alone with his father's body. Haro lay in a pool of blood. Loki covered him with a cloak. Oda likely did this to tone down the gore. Haru's body must be wrecked. All this just because you love this country too much? Damn it. Loki's pain is indescribable. Haro gave him a compelling reason to kill him. But it was the wrong path. Now the poor son bears the burden, abandoned by his mother, then forced by his father to commit patricide. Loki's life is a true tragedy. Why was Haro wrong? Look at the next panel. At Mariejois, IMSMA is panting after Haro's death. He was a rat, enhanced, immortal ancient giant, and he was killed? What the hell is hiding in LBF? Garp and Roger killing rocks made sense, but Haro's defeat has IMSMA completely shocked. Something in Elbaf killed Haro without him knowing. This proves him isn't aware of the national treasure. He can communicate and command, but he can't see through their eyes. We saw this with Saturn and Dene. 2. I believe in Mythical Zoan allows him to share regeneration with up to 13 people, but their deaths backlash on him when a holy knight or elder dies. M feels it. He even took the pain to kill Saturn because the old man was useless. Mars suggested sending more holy knights, but M refused. If Haro lost, more casualties would be pointless. Haro's death hurt him significantly. Haro was stronger than Garland, so someone defeating him stops their Elbaf ambition cold. M regrets losing Haro but realizes that such a distinct giant might have eventually destroyed the government from within. History doesn't lie. We are incompatible. Elbaf is D, never forget that. That truth gave me chills. History proves celestial dragons and giants can't coexist. Just look at Oimo and Cassia. M realizes the giant kingdom must be destroyed, not used. Haro tried to trade his warrior pride for fake peace. Haro's choice was wrong from the start. Ragnar would never have chosen him. Loki was always the right one. Back in LBF, it's time to handle the aftermath. Loki, the country will be in chaos. I'm setting sail. Old man, the king's death will cause panic. They need a convincing cover story for his passing. Jarl and the soldiers could testify, but Loki refused. He wanted to take everyone to seek revenge on the government. Loki was blinded by hatred. Also, he refused to reveal the truth to protect his father's reputation. Listen up. Speak of this to no one. Then, who takes the blame? It's simple. I won't inherit my father's ideology, but I can inherit his power. I'll use this power for revenge. That is the true nature of an Elbaf warrior in the Deep Clan. Loki rejected Haro's mistaken path. Just like Mom on OS UK, who didn't open one immediately as Odin wished, but chose to wait. Loki chose a different path, even if it destroyed his father's efforts. Peace at that price wasn't worth it. Loki turned to leave, ignoring Jarl's warning, "Don't be a fool. The world government isn't that simple." It was reckless. Jarl, at his age, was forced to lie, knowing clearing Loki's name later would be difficult. Jarl knew that if Rox and Haro died because of them, Loki's revenge mission was suicide. Shanks and Gaban stayed silent. They knew Loki was too enraged and too powerful to stop right then. Respect to Shanks. He watched over Loki for 8 years, bringing him back only when he was strong enough to survive. Otherwise, Shanks could never atone for the sins of his bloodline. 14 years ago, the three of them agreed to Loki's plan, pin all the blame on Loki. It was all to preserve King Haro's reputation. And history played out exactly as we know it. The country mourned, and Loki became the cursed prince. Oda skipped over his time at sea. The battle where Shanks captured Loki is likely saved for another flashback later. Flashback ends. By the time he returned, my bad reputation was set. I acted the part, too. But I didn't kill my father for pleasure. I just didn't want his entire life to be negated by that one mistake. Despite their differences, Loki is a good son. Everyone fell silent. Gaban spoke up, "It's the truth. I can testify." He let Loki say it himself for closure. "Now I understand why elders are all protected you and opposed the death penalty. So father chose death to avoid being manipulated. The government has been our enemy all along." Gaban explained those were the Holy Knights. However, Loki still doesn't know exactly what happened to Haro at the Holy Land. Loki admitted, "If I had made it far enough to meet those guys, I would have become king of the world." Gaban must have visited the underworld. Loki only fought Holy Knights, never reaching Mariejois. Gaban offered to explain to the public, but HJ rude and refused. No need. Protecting the country needs no excuse. He walked over and unlocked the sea stone chains. "Loki, I understand now. Let's fight for LBF together." It's resolved. Loki is finally free from the chains that held him for 6 years. But Luffy is the happiest one, because finally, Loki can fight. Luffy sensed Loki's strength immediately. He just wanted to see what this guy could actually do. Don't overthink it. Suddenly, they both sensed something. Loki proved his observation hockey is on par with Luffy's. He can see the immediate future. Sure enough, a nightmare monster fell into the underworld. Chopper panicked. Where did that come from? It's a Dr. Star. How does a thing like that exist? Perfect warm-up. You guys go ahead. I can fly. Loki smiled dangerously. We're about to see his real power. Cool, Loki can fly. Aside from Lunarians or tech, flight usually means a devil fruit. Weapons don't fly on their own. And Ragnar is a hammer, not a flying squirrel. So the mythical Zoan gives him flight. 4 legs, claws, flight. The Fenrir wolf theory seems wrong. It's likely a western dragon, like an ID hog. Back to the story. HAJ rude and apologized. "Hey Loki, we thought you were a scumbag Patricide. Sorry about that. Shut up and go. I don't need your words." Loki tossed the chains aside, howling in freedom. Luffy danced with joy. Notably, Loki healed instantly, slapping his previously injured arm with no pain. Instant recovery upon release, definitely a mythical Zoan. Gaban quipped, "Someone get the chairman some clothes." Sanji flew them up to the surface. Now it's Loki's turn. Luffy sat on his shoulder. "Fight. I can't wait to see this." "Alright. Iron Thunder Ragnar." Loki leapt up, calling Ragnar, against the Dr. Star. He looked tiny, but size doesn't matter. Ragnar suddenly emitted a cold wave, freezing the Drive Star on contact. The move Primeval World. Note that the cold came from Ragnar, not Loki. Oda is showing off the hammer first, saving Loki's powers for later. Thunder than ice. This hammer is like a fusion of an Elbaf Arc. No wonder no one could claim it for centuries. The Loki versus Kaido gap is widening. Speed from thunder, crowd control from ice. This hammer deals way too much magic damage. Even Luffy was wide-eyed. What a freeze. And Loki hasn't even combined his own power with Ragnar yet. He'll definitely ask Luffy for a rematch later. I think Luffy needs to recruit Loki before they join the war. The next chapters should be fast-paced and epic. That concludes my analysis of chapter 1171. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe to support One Piece today. See you next time.